Hi, William. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Rachel? How's it going?
It's going great. To start, I think, World War II is a as a time period is so fascinating now in our modern time. Like we keep going back to it in multiple different movies with multiple different stories. And as an American, we ignore literally every other war that we've kind of been in. And we're like, oh no, those don't exist. For you, what do you think it is about World War II that keeps making audiences want to go see movies about it and made you want to be a part of Murder Company?
Yeah, I think what connected me to the story more than anything was that I have a personal connection in that both my grandfathers fought in World War II. They were both actually in the airborne division. One grandfather was in the Royal Navy, in the Naval Air Force, and my other grandfather was a paratrooper. So, and actually, we have a picture of both of them when they were, when they were in the army, and it's amazing how young they were, and I think that's what I wanted to play with Jim Southern, that that he's just a young, naive sort of guy that's thrown into a foreign circumstance and kind of has to find himself, find his inner strength to get through a pretty horrific circumstance.
Yeah, and I think it's such a fascinating thing because it's like my grandpa, one was in World War II, the other one was in Korea. And the one who was in Korea does like didn't want to ever talk about it, was like, no, I'm good. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't in that war. But the one from World War II would be like, yeah, I fought for Scotland. Da, da, da. And it's an interesting dynamic because it's these men were heralded as heroes, and so they loved kind of fighting for what they were believing in. When you get to play that energy with, like, now we have this modern lens kind of on these wars, does how did you find kind of playing that young naivety and really getting to dive into someone who did think they were doing everything for the right reasons and were thrown into a war to fight for their lives?
Right. I mean, I can tell you specifically for me, even acting the part, I would dream about war at night. We were shooting from, we would leave the hotel at 4 a.m. We get back at 9 o'clock at night, and we're staying in a hotel, like we're not sleeping in the trenches. And I would dream about people dying around me. I dream that I was getting shot. I dream that, there was bombs and guns and everything is like it was really, it gets into your subconscious, and when I came back from shooting the film, I said to my sister, I was like, I never want to go to war. Like that, I mean, just acting it was awful. And like imagining really being there would have been really hard. And, we shot the whole film in 12 days. So I think you get the feeling that it was tough, that we were under pressure, that we tried our best to like get every shot, that we were running from set to set, that we were in all this in the uniforms. And so yeah, I got a new understanding of it for sure, that it isn't all glamour, essentially.
Yeah, and I have to ask this as somebody who I'm gonna tie it all together, but as somebody who was Lucy Pemisy in production of The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in high school, I have to ask, that is a very different kind of World War II story because it is a young boy who is old enough to recognize what's going on. And
Right.
Peter is somebody who's like, I know I have to protect my siblings. I know what's going on in the world. And now you're playing a different kind of young man who is very naive to what is going on.
Yeah.
How for you as an actor has it been kind of having that full circle moment of being the kid who knows too much and now being the adult boy who doesn't know enough?
Yeah, I think it was they definitely play into each other. In fact, there was one day on set when the director was like, okay, Shane was like, okay, you need to be like more authoritative, more authoritative in this scene. Like you need to be stronger. I was like, okay, and I did it. And then he was like, no, I'm still more. And one of the actors turned to me, Chilla, and he goes, he pointed me, you need to lead us now. You need to lead. And I was like, this guy's 6'5" linebacker. I was like, okay, I got the point. All right, I'm gonna step it up. And like when he said that to me, he shouted at me. I was like, because he was like acting it, but he was also like kind of serious. And I was like, okay, all right, I got it. I understand what you're saying. So yeah, it definitely like woke me up at the same time.
I like that this one guy was just holding it in and he was like,
He
okay,
was.
like
He
when
just
you
like
need it, I'm just gonna
exactly.
lobby a
He
line
just
which in the
lost.
wardrobe quoting you.
Exactly.
Um, Oh, for a last question, with
Yeah.
a movie that is about World War II, but doesn't so much glorify it in a way, like
Right.
it's kind of like the war version of Oppenheimer, where it was like showing us the dark side of the atomic bomb of World War II. This is kind of showing us a lot of the dark parts of the actual war itself. What do you hope audiences take away from a movie like Murder Company when they get to see it?
Yeah, this film's being released 80 years and 1 month since the D-Day invasion. So I think it's very important that audiences see the film. I watched a film about Jewish refugees being removed from Prague to the UK. My grandfather's partner was one of those children who went on the train. And she survived, but her grandparents died in Auschwitz. And my mum said to me very interestingly, she was like, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Like, I know it's going to be hard to watch. Like, it's depressing, but you got to see it. I was like, and I watched it and it was heartbreaking. It's called One Life. And similarly with this film, it's an hour and a half. Yeah, it's a beautiful film. Similarly with this film, actually, my grandfather's partner is that girl at the end in the picture, the black and white picture. That's actually her. Yeah. So yeah, so it's very personal to me. Yeah. And so similarly with this film, everybody knows someone who was in World War II, whether it's your grandfather, your friend's grandfather, your great uncle, whatever. So see it, know what it's about, know the history, like respect that we all fought together. We fought oppression. People died for oppression. They died for our freedom. And just take an hour and a half to watch the film, and it's entertaining, but also you're going to take something from it, a new understanding.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And as a former Lucy, it means a lot to me to talk to you today.
That's great, Rachel. Thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time.
you. Have a great one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.